Doing another NFL best ball draft tonight. Can't wait to do it. Can't wait to talk to our co-host because we did a show a couple weeks ago, and we'll get to see what other opinions we have about some of the players this year. But before we get into everything, please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video. Visit the link in the description for the merch store. As always, I'm wearing something from the merch store. It is our light blue Walter football t-shirt. Yes, I wore this yesterday, but it's the fanciest shirt I own, so I got to wear it 2 days in a row. You can even wear it at a wedding. You can have a nice blazer over it, and you'll probably be the best dressed person at the wedding. So you can get this here at the merch store. 20% off sale, which is pretty incredible. You could change the colors of these shirts. That's how you get the light blue. You can get any other color as well. You can get them in long sleeve, hoodie, infant onesie, and women's tank top. We have mugs. We have our famous apron. We have playing cards, mouse pad, even more mugs, blanket, baby bib. We have so much here. Like I said, 20% off. You can go to Amazon, buy my books. The most recent one is Jerks of the College Years, where I made fun of all these wonderful people on the cover and many others inside. And as my book is A Safety and a Field Goal, which is a top 5 topic book about the NFL. And please consider super chats and super stickers. That is the best way to support the show. I can't say this enough. YouTube pays us nothing. So if you really want to help to keep the show going, please consider those 2 things. That is the best way to support the channel. But we are joined by Mike Luchene from NFLRoughDraft.com. Mike, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me back on. And, it's the kickoff of summer here. And I'm looking forward to some football talk and getting ready for the season. Hey, yeah. How's it going, Cassandra? By the way, Cassandra's awesome, right? She's, always supporting everything on this channel.
Yes. Hashtag free the apron. Absolutely. Do you said last week, and I'll sign up for a draft right now. So while we wait, I wanted to ask you, you said last week when you were on that you were going to have your draft board and everything, that you're going to start on that. How far have you gone into that?
Yeah, I've got about 3 rounds. I purposely try not to do it this time of the year. Mm-hmm. I used to be doing high stakes drafts in May and June, and I've kind of, it's kind of a funny story. I follow this guy, Chad Schroeder, and he's known as one of the best redraft players in the world. And he's always waited until about 2 weeks before the season. And I started thinking about it. And I'm like, I see his logic, because what he's doing is he's waiting for like all of the people who are like hardcore fantasy football fans to kind of like be done. And he's waiting for the casual audience to kind of come in. So I've been trying to do that with my drafts. And I feel like if I make my board, I'm too tempted to start joining a bunch of leagues. So I really like this guy's discipline. And then at the end of last year, he was like, oh, by the way, here's how I did this year. And he showed that he joined $750,000 worth of leagues.
Wow.
And it completely changed my perspective. I'm like, wow, for the last couple of years, I've been like, oh, I'm waiting, until the last couple of weeks before the season starts to draft. And now here's this guy who I've been like looking up to. He drafted $750,000 worth of teams in 2 weeks.
Jeez, it's a lot of money to throw around.
Yeah.
That's pretty incredible. I mean, how'd he do?
He won $1 million, over $1 million, something like that. I mean,
that's incredible.
He could have probably thrown it into like an S&P 500 index fund and, not had to worry about all the taxes and winning $400,000 in gambling, but whatever.
That's true. Or my favorite thing is buying puts on the inverse ETFs, the leveraged inverse ETFs, which go to zero. I don't know. It feels like free money almost, but we have the 6th pick. But as the clock ticks down, I think there's an argument to be made to draft early. There's also an argument to be made to draft late, like he did. I think like having a balance, like if you're going to do so many leagues, I think it makes sense to balance it out a little bit, and then maybe you want to lean heavier toward the end of the summer. But I found that you can get some great deals on players early on. Like for example, last year at this time, we're getting Emeka Egbuka in like 9th, 10th round. And eventually he ended up going like 4th round. So it really depends, I think. Like if you can identify a bunch of sleepers who you think will see their ADP go up, then I think it makes sense to do some drafts early. But if you're like, I really don't see anything, then maybe you should wait. So I think that there is some nuance to it.
Yeah. And I agree with that. And I also think that the type of league matters too. Like these are good leagues to do now because you're getting a sense of ADP as we head into the summer. And these $25 leagues are, expensive, but not like super expensive. I used to draft like the $300 teams and the $2,000 teams in May.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd have a running back like tear his ACL on August 1st. And I'm like, just spent $2,000 on this team in May. And the guy tore his ACL on August 1st. So I think that's another reason why I kind of waited until the end. But and then the other part of it is it's a big tournament, so you get some rapid and wild ADP swings those last couple of weeks before the season starts. Whereas now everything's kind of static.
That is definitely true. Although I mean, those injuries can occur at any time. I'll never forget drafting with my friends. This is like 2009, I would say 2010, something like that. And I drafted Dominic Davis. Remember him, the running back for the Texans? I drafted him like end of first round. And I remember it was like 2:00 in the afternoon, and the Texans had their final preseason game at like 4, and he tore his ACL at like 4:00. like 2 hours later, the draft just ended. I was like, oh man, there goes my team. Like my first round pick is gone. So it can happen. So you're doing odd rounds here, so you're going to be up in one pick. I assume JSN might be gone. According to ADP, the best players available are who went? Jonathan Taylor. So JSN is here. JSN, McCaffrey, St. Brown, Jefferson, Cook, Lamb, Genty, Barkley. Who do you like?
Yeah, JSN's a slam dunk for me there. I think Jefferson could have a bounce back year. St. Brown's safe, but it's tough to pass on JSN. I have him ahead of Puka Nacua this year. I just think Nacua is great, but he's always injured. I mean, he fell to the 5th round in the NFL draft because of durability issues, and he's been a great NFL player, but he is always hurt.
That's true. Are you worried about Kubiak being gone for JSN? Maybe regressing a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he could. It's with a different offensive coordinator, but it just seems like I know they've got Rashid Shaheed there. Torrey Horton's a nice player. Cooper Kupp, I think, it has fallen off a cliff. So I still think that there are going to be a ton of targets for JSN.
Yeah, I want to lower him because of the Kubiak stuff, and Smith and Jigba hit his pinnacle year, perhaps. But then I'm like, wait, who do I put ahead of him? And I don't know who. I do have Puka Nacua ahead of him just for that reason. But as far as the other positions too, like I can't make an argument for really anyone else. Maybe James Cook, who's still available. But I think you're not a fan of Cook, if I remember correctly.
I have always liked Cook in that 3rd round range, and I know he has had 2 really big touchdowns heavy seasons.
Yeah.
I just I look at a guy like Saquon Barkley who just went there at 112, and like I'd rather take a shot on him like late. Because I feel like he usually goes like late too, right? Not early. Does he go where he just went right there?
I don't know. I mean, we don't have his ADP here because he just went, but he tends to go like around 202, 203.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen him go late too. But I don't know. I mean, maybe it's happened once in a while. But I mean, obviously much later than he went last year. And so right. I think he could certainly rebound. So yeah, I like Barkley too. So this guy Haraj at the end got Barkley and Cook. I think that's a good start. So yeah, I'll be up in 3 picks. So we have Achane here. I had Achane and McCaffrey on the thumbnail. I don't know if you got to see it, but it was they were both asleep at the next game where. And I put those 2 guys because you don't like those 2 guys either very much. I'm on the clock right now. I'm gonna go with Chase Brown. We need a running back, obviously, and Chase Brown is going to be a big part of Cincinnati's offense, which, has an easy schedule and is going to be explosive because Joe Burrow is healthy for now. I like the Bengals a lot this year. I think that they can potentially go to the Super Bowl, maybe win the Super Bowl. This is like the first offseason they've had in a long time. Like, I think maybe since the year they went to the Super Bowl, where they've had like no drama heading into the year. Like, it's always like, oh, Burrow's hurt. Is he going to be healthy with his calf? We don't know. Are the receivers going to get paid? All these defensive players left in free agency. Who's going to take over? There's like nothing distracting this team right now. It's the first time in a long time. And if Burrow stays healthy, then I think like the sky's the limit for them.
Yeah, if Burrow stays healthy, if Burrow stayed healthy last year, I think Chase Brown would have probably been going even higher. I mean, obviously, no, it's accounted. We're accounting for Burrow being healthy next season, and his ADP accounts for that. But he's going to have 80 or 90 targets, and 80 or 90 targets is a slam dunk in this range, no matter what he does as an actual running back. I mean, he's going to have 60 catches.
Yeah, that's for sure. Jeremiah Love went earlier than usual. He went 210. My opinion, a little too high. We talked about him last time, but I think he went round 3 last time, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I'm happy to see that people are finally catching on, though. And in the past, those top of the first round running backs usually go in the first round. I remember Najee Harris as a rookie was even going in the first round.
Yeah. It was crazy. It's Cassandra. This is full PPR. Poor Jason can't catch a break. First the dumb award show, then his trophy. I don't. What was the dumb award show? I don't know. Do you know what Cassandra's talking about?
They spelled his name wrong, I think, on the trophy.
Oh, did they? Okay. I don't follow any of the award stuff.
Yeah, I don't usually either.
Yeah. We had Bowers go ahead of McBride, which I think is correct.
Me too.
I'm terrified of Arizona this year. And we were talking about Jeremiah Love. Like we're going to see Carson Beck at some point this year because they need to know what they have in him. And you can kiss those touchdowns goodbye that McBride had with Brissett. So
you're up anyway. I mean, even with Brissett there, that was very, very fluky.
Yeah, you're up right now. The top ADP guys: Kyron Williams, Rashee Rice, Mecca Ibuka, Ladd McConkey, Travis Etienne, T. Higgins, Zay Flowers, Malik Neighbors, Javonte Williams, Garrett Wilson, Colson Loveland. Who do you like?
Why do we go? This is a little bit crazy, but let's go McConkey. And here's my reasoning for it. Okay, so I like T. Higgins a lot. We already have Chase Brown. Mm-hmm. I know McConkey had an underwhelming season last year, but he's got Mike McDaniel there now. Mike McDaniel plays the fewest 3 receiver sets, I believe, of any coordinator. I know he was a head coach last year in the league. So he's really going to filter targets to 2 wide receivers. You have to imagine Ladd McConkey is going to be one of them. I would expect Quentin Johnston would be the second one. So I know it's not like a screaming value right there, but I think he's a big bounce back candidate.
Yeah, I love him. He was my second best player available after Ibuka. I love both of them this year. So I'm definitely happy to draft him. And remember, Keenan Allen was there last year too, so he was taking targets away from him. And there's no Keenan Allen. I'd be shocked if they re-signed him just because he was he was just shot last year. There's nothing left. And I like that we can get McConkey on value here because last year he was going early round 2 at this time. I think he eventually settled at like late round 2, but he's still going in the second round. And now he's going mid 3rd to late 3rd. And there's definitely more value with him this year. Do you like Ibuka as well?
Yeah, I like Ibuka. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how that offense, the passing game plays out. I know Ted Hurst has a lot of fans. I think if Ted Hurst works out, it's not going to be right away, or maybe not even in 2026. I actually do like Ted Hurst in the Mike Evans role, but he's not Mike Evans, and it's going to take him a little bit of time. I mean, he played for Georgia State, even though he was pretty good at the Senior Bowl. I can't see him having like a huge impact right away. And then Jalen McMillan's been getting a lot of buzz, which I again have been trying to ignore. I tried to ignore May minicamp news, but Jalen McMillan is a guy that I kind of liked when he was in the draft. He was a top 100 pick. Remember, he played for that high-powered Washington team with Penix, and they had Roma Dunze and Jalen Polk, and actually Puka Nacua was there before he transferred to BYU too. But it'll be interesting to see what Jalen McMillan does now that he's healthy. He had that big neck injury last year.
I was going to draft Cam Scatterbo, and
you have a second round value on him, right?
Yeah, yeah, I do. So we got sniped there, unfortunately. So I know everyone is down on DJ Moore. It's all I see. He's Buffalo's top receiver, and Josh Allen, like he can have great. He can give his top receiver great stats. We saw that with Stephon Diggs. So I don't get why there's so much disdain for DJ Moore. What are your thoughts on DJ Moore?
Yeah, I like DJ Moore a lot. Again, it was kind of just a crowded room the last couple of years for him in Chicago. I still think Odunze's got a lot of talent. Luther Burden emerged last year. They drafted Colston Loveland. They had a lot of guys there. And like you mentioned, Buffalo has been spreading the ball around lately. And I think it's led to this belief that that's just what they're going to do. But you mentioned it. When they actually had a guy who could handle it, in Diggs, he had a ton of targets and a ton of production. And DJ Moore is the type of is almost kind of like the George Pickens of the fourth round this year, or a candidate to be the George Pickens of the fourth round this year, where if you get that right, that could win you your league.
Oh, yeah. It's like JSN last year in the third round.
Yeah.
I actually saw a video where people talking about like who could be the JSN of this year. And I was like, oh, that's an interesting topic. So I clicked on the video. I can't even remember who it was, but some guy was like, I think this year's JSN is going to be Mike Evans. Like, what?
Yes. Who? Mike Evans, huh?
Mike Evans, yeah.
Let me type his name into Google here. He's like 33 years old. I mean,
yeah, chronic hamstring issues, playing near that electrical substation.
I don't think it's going to be Mike Evans.
No, I was like that. Okay, I was like, that's an interesting topic to talk about, but let's not have it be Mike Evans.
Right. Yes.
But I think that McConkey, Ibuka, one of those guys. I think DJ Moore potentially. I bet him to win Offensive Player of the Year.
Okay, nice.
Well, the odds are like insane. I think they were like, I want to say like 200 to 1 or something. I forget exactly. I can look it up. I forget what I had. It was just like ridiculous odds. And I was like, Josh Allen's top receiver is like 200 to 1. That doesn't make any sense. Let me see what that is.
Is this paused here? I don't know what's going on. My screen's showing. Oh, there we go. Christian Watson.
Yeah, it's because I went on a different tab. That's why.
Oh, okay.
I had DJ Moore at 250 to 1 to an Offensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, it's worth a shot.
That's crazy. Yeah, $20. Like, why not? $20 to win 5,000. So you're going to be up in 2 picks. Montgomery was the top player I had available. Swift goes. So let's go. We have 1 pick left, but let's see who's the top players according to ADP. We have Jameson Williams, there's Mike Evans, Lamar Jackson, Roma Dunze, Joe Burrow, Travion Henderson, Bucky Irving, Bashal Tutin, Jadarian Price, Tyler Warren, Carnell Tate, and we're about to be on the clock in 10 seconds.
Jameson Williams is screaming value here.
Yes. Yeah. Who went? Henderson went.
Yeah. So Jameson Williams is the pick. I have him in the early third round this year. He was just terrific after Dan Campbell took over the play calling last year. Yeah. And he's still, I think he's only 24 years old. Remember, he had the ACL and came back halfway through his rookie year and had the slow start to his career, but that's going to be a high-powered offense. Last time I was on, you talked about that schedule this year. It is a cupcake schedule.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, to top it all off, this is best ball. So when he has those weeks where he has 3 catches for 270 yards, he hits the lineup, and him not being a high volume type guy doesn't hurt because he's not going to hit the lineup in those weeks where he doesn't.
I can't believe he's going round 5.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Like you said, round 3. I think I'm in lockstep with you. Do you know what number receiver he is in your rankings?
I don't have it solidified yet. I get I know I'm like on your channel talking about Kanata Mumpfield over in August, but again, I have to save myself from myself. I'm doing 50 dynasty fantasy football drafts now, the rookie drafts, and if I let myself run away with this, I would be doing hundreds of drafts. So I have to save myself from myself. But I have him early third round this year.
He was the 27th receiver chosen here. He is my number 17 receiver, which would be 401, which is Higgins. That he was the number 17 receiver. So
points per game, I believe he was top 12 in PPR last year.
I think he goes nuts. Yeah, he has these crazy games, which is perfect for best ball. First of all, and second, I don't see why it would change where he's suddenly just not going to be a factor here. Like, of course he is. Like, he could be the next JSN, for all we know. I mean,
he doesn't have the volume, but I mean, he could be like a Deshaun Jackson. He top 12 receiver in the 5th round is ridiculous, especially when he's 24 years old.
Yeah. Okay, I'm up. What are your thoughts on Chuba Hubbard? Because I drafted him, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I like Chuba. I think everybody's getting a little bit carried away with Jonathan Brooks. I think it's the fantasy people wanting to act like they're smarter than everybody at this time of the year. Like, oh, you guys might have forgotten about Jonathan Brooks. And I did point out the other day on Twitter, a lot of people forget. I'm sure you probably haven't, but a lot of people forget, or the younger crowd doesn't even know. Frank Gore tore his ACL twice while he was at Miami before he was even drafted. And people thought, this guy might not have that long of a career. So it's not that Jonathan Brooks can't come back, but it's been, 3 years at this point, and he hasn't even really played. People are saying that he should be going ahead of Chuba Hubbard right now.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
There's no proof that he'll be the top back. Like, it doesn't make any sense. There's no evidence behind it. And Hubbard gave away touches to Dowdle last year, or Doodle as we call him. But he was hurt last year, and that's why Doodle started those games in the middle of the year. It's I just don't get it. So
I mean, do we even know for certain that Trevor Etienne isn't going to show up to camp and win not the starter role, but the handcuff role? I mean, I could see it.
Yeah, I mean, Brooks just may not be the same player.
Yeah,
as it was before. So people just assume that he will be. I'm not ready to make that assumption. So I don't get it. Team 5, by the way, took 2 tight ends in the first 6 rounds.
Not tight end premium.
No, not at all. There's no reason to do that. Tight end's so deep this year. It's crazy. And it's just an easy way to stack your quarterback too.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a little bit high to take Jonathan Taylor too. Taking a running back at 105 when that running back doesn't really get a lot of targets that's dicey.
Yeah, Taylor was awesome last year, but we saw him at the end when Daniel Jones was out and they had to start Phillip Rivers and Riley Leonard, and Taylor had no running room because the defenses didn't have to respect the passing attack.
Yep.
So we're not. There's no guarantee that Jones is gonna be healthy. So, who's to say the same thing won't happen again as we saw last year? Or at the end of last year, I mean.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Okay. We're up in a few picks. Parker Washington went. We had that discussion last week. Marvin Harrison Jr., I have no idea what to make of him, but again, it's going to be Carson Beck at the end of the year. So do you really want that in the fantasy playoffs? I would be worried about that for Harrison. Even if he has a big year.
I did very well in my high stakes leagues last year, and I took Marvin Harrison in the 4th round of every single one of them. Even though I really liked George Pickens, I did not get George Pickens in any of those leagues because I took Marvin Harrison, liked him more. Mm-hmm. All right, I didn't see Jalen Hurts get picked.
No, he's right here.
Can we take Jalen Hurts?
Of course.
I know he doesn't know how to throw the ball, but he has so many rushing touchdowns. I don't understand why he's going this late.
It doesn't make any sense. I've drafted him a bunch in the middle of the 7th round. He's still a great fantasy quarterback. He's the tush push was not banned.
Yeah, anytime they get the ball inside the 1-yard line, he's getting a rushing touchdown.
Yeah. He was going late round 4 last year. Sometimes round 5, usually like mid to late round 4, and now he's going 3 rounds later because AJ Brown's gone. Like, I don't really care about that.
No, he's not. Yeah, he doesn't throw the ball anyway.
Right. Yeah, he targets 2 guys. That's why Goddard goes nuts whenever Brown or Devontae Smith were out.
Yeah.
Now, I like Goddard for that reason this year, but I don't like Mekhi Lemon at 7-10. That is a player I'm not drafting at all. He's got some issues, but who are you guys' favorite late receiver darts in best ball? We could maybe answer that once we get to the late rounds. We could identify some guys. I will say right now that I've been drafting Jalen Noel a lot. Just because Christian Kirk is gone. I don't trust Tank Dell to be healthy. And I just feel like Noel is going to get a lot of targets out of the slot. He goes like around 19 or 20. So he's someone I've been drafting. But unless you have someone in mind, we can look at that later on once we get to the late rounds.
Yeah, we'll look at that later on. But I think that's a good approach. Looking at those 2nd and 3rd round NFL draft wide receivers from last year, they're usually pretty good candidates to break out. And Jalen Noel, he had a little bit of a drop issue at Iowa State, but he's got some juice, and Tank Dell's got a lot that he's got to work his way back from. So I think and then it's a good offense too. They fixed their offensive line. Yeah. If CJ Stroud takes a step sort of back to where he was as a rookie, I like that pick a lot.
Yeah. I think he's worth it in round 19, round 20, but we'll see. We'll get to some of those receivers later. RJ Harvey went round 8. That's the latest I've seen him go. Not that I like him at all. I just think he kind of sucks, but it was just weird to see him round 8 just because he's been going earlier than that.
Yeah, I'm not a big RJ Harvey guy either. I don't know. I kind of like Jonah Coleman, but I could also see Jonah Coleman being straight up inactive for the first few games of the season while they play J.K. Dobbins in that role.
Yeah, and we know Dobbins will be hurt at some point.
So. Exactly. So that's why I like Coleman a little bit, but it's a little bit harder with best ball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. I like Coleman as a runner. Okay, I'm up right now. A bunch of quarterbacks went, which is fine because we have ours. I know you. I think I asked you this question last week. Monangai or Corum? I think you said Corum, right?
Yeah, I love Blake Corum.
Okay, we will take him. And as I said last week, I'm trying to get one of Monangai or Corum, or maybe both if it's round 8, round 9. Just because they have insane ceilings. If Kyron Williams goes down, Corum is going to go. He's going to have round 2, round 3 value. And same thing with Monangai. If Swift gets hurt, he's going to have round 2, round 3 value. But even if they don't get hurt, like they're going to hit their round 8 value. That's just like where they should go regardless because they get a lot of work. So I like these guys just for their upside here.
Yeah, I had this conversation with Ray, the other guy from NFL Rough Draft at 6 a.m. this morning. We woke up, had a text MFL, my fantasy league, where we play our dynasty leagues on. They send you emails when you get trade offers. I text Ray. I'm like, hey, we just got offered. We get Blake Corum. We give a 2028 second round pick. I think we got to take this. And he pretty much said the same thing you did, which you're right. That he is the type of pick that wins you your league. If Kyron Williams gets hurt, as Ray put it this morning, he's not getting out of the top 24 picks in a redraft league. Yeah. Like you said, if Kyron Williams doesn't get hurt, he's still someone you can put in your lineup.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I mean, and the Rams are going to be great this year, so they're going to have a lot of leads. And, there were games last year where I think they both hit around 100 rushing yards. I remember we live bet a lot during the games, and there were games where I live bet both Kyron Williams and Blake Corum rushing yards. And they would both hit. It was crazy. Barkley's ADP on Fantasy Pros in PPR is 13. So yeah, he's going around there. And then electrical substation might be a real thing. Yeah, it sounds that right. I don't know. I don't know too much about it, but I mean, there's got to be some explanation for all the injuries they've had.
Yeah, definitely. I have one quick comment on Barkley, but I'll wait until our pick is up here.
Downs just went. So according to ADP, the top players available are Stafford, Fannin, Mahomes, Monangai, Goff, Myers, who just went. Brooks just went. Okay, so Myers, Kittle, Wan'Dale Robinson, Pearsall, Murray, Dobbins, Bo Nix. Who do you like?
I mean, why don't we double it up with Corum and Monangai here, right?
I love it.
DeAndre Swift wasn't that good. Yeah. And just quickly on Barkley, I'm really surprised that his ADP is 13. That's again why when I'm making my rankings, I try not to. I eventually, when I'm done, go back and look at ADP and think about whether or not I'm wrong. And sometimes I am. But Barkley, so I had a league that I drafted with a couple guys, one of my high stakes leagues last year that didn't go well, and they wanted Christian McCaffrey at 8 or 9 or something like that. And I remember thinking that's kind of early for me. And they took Barkley because McCaffrey went one pick earlier. And I remember thinking, wow, this is great. They wanted McCaffrey. I thought I was getting outvoted, and I just kind of shut up and I was like, oh, all right, well, I guess we'll take Saquon Barkley. And I was excited about it.
All right.
So that team missed the playoffs. It might have had a losing record. If you just switched those two players on that team, we finish number 1 overall in the league in points, in record, and make the playoffs. And have in the FFPC high stakes leagues, that gives you a bye too to the big tournament.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit. I think Barkley can bounce back for sure this year, but I'm surprised to see that his ADP is still. I know not first or second like it was last year, but 13 is still borderline of the first round. So it's interesting.
Yeah. That's pretty crazy that one player could have that much of an impact. I always say that, you can't win your league in the first round, but you can lose your league. And Barkley was the guy who lost your league because he just wasn't good last year. And it really was the offensive line. It just was a mess. So we'll see if that's going to be better. I think there's a chance because Lane Johnson was just so banged up last year. He might as well just be next to that electrical substation because he's been hurt a lot.
He's our age.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty crazy. And Landon Dickerson was hurt as well. He was playing hurt. So if those two guys are healthy, it's a big if. I was going to take Goff, by the way, because we have Jameson Williams. Our quarterback buy is 10, so we won't make that mistake again. Who are our receivers? We have Jason, Cocky Moore, Williams. We can't stack with anyone except for JSN, but I don't want to draft Darnold. So I'd like to get a second quarterback now. There's no one at receiver, running back who really stands out here. I feel like anyone we can get 2 rounds later. So Dallas Goedert's available. That's the way we can stack. I'm gonna take Dallas Goedert. I just think he's gonna have a huge season.
Yep.
with Brown gone. I think that's a and plus he's gonna be motivated because the Eagles took a tight end in the second round. So I really like Goddard this year, like around round 10. It feels like he's going like a round or two too late.
Yeah, there are a lot of good tight ends this year. I mean, Dallas Goedert in round 10 is really good value. And I know they have a different play caller this year, but they look to him in the red zone all the time last year.
Yeah.
And you, like you said, it seems like he's probably going to be motivated to, get one more contract somewhere. After this year, now that Eli Stowers is there, and Stowers, I know it's just minicamp, but he's off to a little bit of a rough start too.
Yeah, I mean he's always like this high upside guy. So I'm not surprised that he's off to a slow start. I think he could be great eventually, but not so much this year. So Goddard's gonna be the second read with Devontae Smith there after Devontae Smith. So and really just take all the games Goddard had without Brown or Smith. Like that's like a top 5 tight end season. And we got him. Yeah, we got him as what, the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, the 11th tight end, where like he could easily be top 5 this year.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So I love that value. Coker just got a contract. I was going to grade it, but I forgot. My Kenny, who does the show with me on Tuesday, loves Jalen Coker. So it was pretty cool to see him get that contract. You're going to be up in a few picks. So let's 2 picks now. Let's go to the ADP. The top ADP guys are J.K. Dobbins, Aaron Jones, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, who's not been practicing, Isaiah Likely, Casey Concepcion, Jake Ferguson, Malik Willis, Jordan Mason, Mark Andrews, Chris Rodriguez, Tyron Tracy, Sam Darnold, Cam Ward, Stephon Diggs, CJ Stroud, so on. Who do you like here?
Yeah, I mean, no one is like screaming off the page here, but if we need a second quarterback, Malik Willis is a safe bet to probably finish in that like quarterback 10 to quarterback 15 range, just because he runs so much. He's not really a guy you'd have to worry about stacking because it's kind of like Hurts, right? I mean, you're looking at him getting a bunch of rushing value. And here, we're taking him well after quarterback 12. So I just think that there's a decent chance that he outperforms a couple of these guys that have already been picked. Like I could see Stafford, I could see taking a step back out of the top 12. Kyler Murray, he's got a good situation, but it's hard to trust him. I could see him taking a step back out of the top 12. And Bo Nix, I don't know. I'm not the biggest Bo Nix fan, so I know he's got Waddle there now too. But I really just think Malik he's almost kind of like what Tyrod Taylor used to be in Buffalo. And Tyrod Taylor was never good, but he was always like QB 12 in points per game.
I think that he is he has this floor built in with this rushing ability. Like you're absolutely right. So I like him. And if we want to stack with him, we could take Greg Dulcich later as our third tight end. So that works out. I'm with you on Bo Nix. I get yelled at by Bronco fans all the time, but Bo Nix he's just so mediocre. I don't know.
It seems like their window to win is his rookie contract. He's one of those guys that, okay, like maybe you can win a Super Bowl because you're not paying him that much. But the second you have to give him another contract, now you're kind of like in that Derek Carr situation that the Raiders were in for 9 or 10 years, where now you've got a guy who's not good enough to win you a Super Bowl. You're going to have to lose some pieces from the defense and, some of the pieces they built even on the offense now. And you go 8-8 every year and you're stuck in the middle.
Oh yeah. That absolutely. That's 100% true. I don't think he's that good. He's not bad, but and plus he's banged up this year. He's an ankle injury right now, so that could hinder his rushing ability. So I don't know if I drafted Bo Nix once, maybe one time, but I've done a bunch of drafts, not like an insane number. But Sam Darnold, when I thought about him as our third quarterback because we have JSN, but that didn't work out. So I do think we need a third quarterback here, just because the starters will disappear and then there will be no one else, and you need 3 quarterbacks in best ball. So we're looking at Daniel Jones, Cam Ward, C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young as the only definite starters still available. Geno Smith, I guess, too, if you want to count him. Any leans there? We have week 10 and 6 buys. We're free to take any one of those.
No, I mean, all you on this one.
All right. I'm gonna go Cam Ward and have all rushing. Yeah, all rushing quarterbacks. Although he didn't run that much last year, so there was one game, I can't remember what it was. He ran a bunch in that game, and the coach, I forget if their old coach is still there. I don't know. Some one of the coaches was like, "Oh, Cam Ward, he found there's rushing upside, and we expect more of it." He said something to that nature, and then like the next week he didn't scramble at all. It's like, come on, guys. What are we doing here?
He's got Brian Dable there now. He's got Carnell Tate. Wandale Robinson's not bad. And last year, one of the things you and I talked about a lot was, okay, Jaden Daniels is going in the late 3rd or the 4th round. But, Caleb Williams and Drake May are still going a little bit later, like 9th, 10th round, and they could take a step forward. Now, this isn't quite that same conversation because obviously that Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jaden Daniels draft, those quarterbacks were elite. But, I could see a situation where Cam Ward kind of takes a step forward and is even better than Jackson Dart this year. I mean, he's going behind Dart and Shuck, and I understand why. I'm not saying that that's wrong, but I'm saying I could easily see Cam Ward taking a step this year and being better than at least one of them.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Although I do like both Dart and Shuck, but Ward is going 4 rounds later than Dart. He's going 2 rounds later than Shuck. It seems like he's going a little too late.
Right.
So
it's no pressure. We like Jaden Daniels over Drake May and Caleb Williams, but I don't think either of us were surprised. I mean, Jaden Daniels had a bad year, but even if Jaden Daniels wasn't as bad, I don't think either of us would have been surprised that May and Caleb Williams were better.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's for sure. Okay, we're up in 2 picks, so let's see what we have here. Top guys according to ADP, we have Chiggy Bang Bang Okonkwo, Rashid Shaheed, Bryce Young. Shaheed's gone. Strange, Sadiq, Travis Hunter, Jalen Naylor, Hunter Henry, Tyler Algier, who went. Naylor just went. Antonio Williams, Spears, Aaron Rodgers, Trey Tucker, TJ Hawkinson, Kamara, Brissett, Mendoza, Boston, Coleman, Tesla, Brian Robinson. Who do you like?
I kind of like Algier. I know it's a crowded situation, but I feel like it's not going to be crowded by the time we get to September. I could see him being traded. I could see James Conner being traded.
Benson, maybe.
Benson, yeah, I could even see Benson being cut. But I still like Algier. I feel bad for the guy. He can't get out of the way of these elite running backs. This is going to be his whole career now if he doesn't get traded, stuck behind elite first-round running backs. But yeah, I still like his upside, and I think that he's going to find himself in. I think that situation is going to be less crowded than it is here in the beginning of June.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if Benson's still on the team. So I think they could go with that trio where Connor is playing third downs because they trust him so much there, and Algier is just siphoning goal line touches away from Love, kind of like he was from Bijan, and then Love is getting all the first and second down work in between the 20s.
I would have really liked Rashid Shaheed right there, even though I know we already have JSN, but I feel like Shaheed has some really good value in best ball in the 13th round. Yeah, for sure. And by the way, kick returns count in DraftKings. So. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he's got even more value then.
Yeah, it's a nice bonus there. No. I mean, I was so surprised that he didn't do much offensively in Seattle just because he was reunited with his former coordinator. But it just feels like that having a whole offseason should be able to get him more involved offensively.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. We're definitely on the same page there. I would have liked Shaheed too at 1306. Yeah, we have what? We have 3 quarterbacks, 5 running backs, 4 receivers, 1 tight end. We need some receivers here. Unfortunately, there's like no one really pops out at me right now. There are a couple guys I like, but we can discuss them for sure. The one guy I like here, his ADP is 171. So even though 163 sounds early, our next pick is 174. So he may not come back to us. So I think I'll take him if he's still available. If not, I have someone else in mind. So I know I'm being cryptic, but we once had I was doing a draft once. I can't remember with whom, but so I took 2 tight ends in a row because I was at the turn, and one of the guys in the draft, he commented here, he was like, "Hey, you sniped me." I was like, "Okay, so maybe I should hide my picks." I was gonna take Flournoy, so I got sniped anyway. The joke's on me. I'm gonna. My backup plan is the Deshaun Stribling. As we talked about the substation, Mike Evans has just a long history of hamstrings. Like that's not going to help. Pearsall, yeah, he got shot his rookie year, but he was hurt all last year. I do like him, but if that trend continues and he gets hurt and Evans is out, like suddenly Stribling could be the receiver 1 there, and that kind of reminds me of the situation with Ibuka last year, where Evans is there. He hurt his hamstring, surprise, and then Godwin was just never healthy, so Ibuka took over as the receiver 1 in like week 3. So and Kittle's out too, and we think McCaffrey's not gonna last. So suddenly like in week 3, 4, 5, 6, like Stribling could just be involved heavily, and they like his run blocking. They talked about that, and that just means that he's going to be on the field. So he's someone I really like around this range. Any thoughts on him?
Yeah, and first of all, I'm with you on Flournoy. We got him in the last draft we did together, and he's a home run this late in best ball. But I like Stribling too. We heard that he was going to go a lot higher than what most people thought in the NFL draft, and he went even higher than that. And then the 49ers, their draft class was, I mean, there were a lot of reaches there. But I thought he was going to go in the second round, even though I didn't think he was going to go 33 overall. And so second round receivers, could they have the potential to emerge, and especially that second half of the season, really turn into big time fantasy football performers.
Oh yeah, and we've seen that a lot over the years. So, yeah, I like him. Denzel Boston, he was under consideration. I'd much rather have Concepcion, but he went 3 rounds earlier. And then there's some rookies. There's some other rookies too. I have to adjust my Malachi Fields ranking because the Giants signed Beckham. But I don't know how much Beckham's going to impact that. So we're in with 2 more picks for your 15th round pick. According to ADP, the top players available are Fernando Mendoza, Brian Robinson, Dylan Sampson, Dalton Schultz, Geno Smith, Jerry Jeudy, Tank Bigsby, Tyreek Hill, Sean Tucker, Debo, Barner, Gunnar Helm, Trey Harris, Nick Singleton, who just went, Jerry Jeudy went, Jeremy Bernard, Dulcich, who went, Fernando Mendoza went. So who do you like?
I mean, we can't take another running back here, right? I kind of like Sampson, but if we can't take another running back,
we can take Sampson.
All right, now let's take him then. I mean, Judkins is coming off of the big time injury. Sampson was good. I mean, Sampson was a day 2 prospect, even though he fell to day 3. Two drafts ago, and I know a lot of people who listen to your show probably already know this, but that running back rookie class was so good that everybody just kind of waited until the late 3rd round, right? You had a burst of guys. You had a couple. You had Genty and Hampton in the first round. You had Henderson and RJ Harvey went in the second round, but that was a reach. And then it was that late third round where you saw Caleb Johnson went, and then into the fourth round with Tootin and Scatabo and Dylan Sampson. And the thought amongst most people was these were all day 2 backs, but there were so many of them that teams were going to be like, well, you know what, we'll shore up another position and then take one of these, whichever one of these backs kind of lasts to the fourth round. And Sampson was one of those guys. So with Judkins hurt, I could see him having a big role. Jerome Ford's not there. Jerome Ford wasn't that good anyway, but now he's out of the picture. If Judkins isn't back to full health, Sampson, I think, could have a lot of fantasy upside this year.
Yeah, that's for sure. And we know they're going to be trailing, so especially with the defense being worse. So Sampson, it will be catching passes. I think that Judkins scares me for that reason. Like, not only with the injury, but with trailing, he's not a factor in the passing game. So it just won't be there. We had a comment that says Gunner Helm no matter what. That would have been that would have been a Warren Helm combo. Yeah. I thought he was going to last until round 16, so that didn't happen. That's okay. We could still take the Dulcich unless we get sniped again. If this guy takes another tight end 3 and 4, that would be pretty tilting. But I'm going to take Dulcich unless this guy is listening and takes him. I mean, he's been taking guys I like. Maybe not so much Tracy, but Okonkwo and Helm I like. Flournoy I like. Obviously, okay, took Bigsby, so that trend snapped. I'm going to take Dulcich to pair with Malik Willis. They have nothing at receiver. It feels like Dulcich is going to have a big year. Not a lot of touchdowns maybe, but a lot of receptions, I think. I don't know. This team's a mess, but they're going to have to throw a lot.
Yeah, it's interesting. The guy he's replacing in Darren Waller, was sort of like a later career sort of, resurgent, or not even a resurgence for Darren Waller. He didn't really produce until he was later in his career. Dulcich now has been cut by a couple of different teams, even though he was a day 2 pick as well. You really saw him come on last year, and he showed some of that potential that made him a day 2 pick. Remember, he wasn't just like a day 2 tight end because this guy's a complete tight end or anything. It was strictly because of his receiving ability, and he looked good.
Yeah, he did. I was always confused about why Sean Payton kind of just decided that he hated him, just randomly, because it looked like his career was going to take off. He had some big games, and then he just disappeared. And he just as soon as Waller went down, he kind of revitalized his career. And unless the Dolphins sign someone, which I'd be surprised, just because they seem to be content to just be the worst team in the NFL and draft Arch Manning. Then Dulcich is just going to be fed all these targets because they really don't have anything going on at receiver. That's like Caleb Douglas pans out, or Malik Washington was a big disappointment last year. Maybe he has a good year. I would doubt it, but and then with Chris Bell too. He's got as Charlie Campbell said, he has DK Metcalf type upside, but he's not healthy now. And so
he might not be until October or later.
Right. So yeah, it's like who does Malik Willis have to throw to? It's Dulcich and a bunch of scrubs and Achane obviously too. So, but he doesn't check down a lot. I think Willis's check down rate was extremely low.
He just takes off and runs. Yeah.
Right. Any scrambling quarterback. That's kind of like why I think Breece Hall could have a big PPR year, just because he goes from Justin Fields to Geno Smith. We saw Geno Smith. We saw Geno Smith check down like a million times to Genty last year.
Yeah, Justin Fields is like, what's that college drinking game where you have to tie the 40s to your hand? That's like Justin Fields with the football. I don't think he realizes the forward pass has been invented. He just runs around the backfield with it.
That's awesome. You're up. Top players: Emmanuel Wilson, Emmett Johnson, Tua, Cooper Kupp, Braylon Allen, Eli Stowers, Parkinson, Ray Davis, Ayuk, Chris Bell, Butte, Christian Kirk, Wicks, Vidal, Watson, Fields, Ferguson, Hill, Coleman. Who do you like?
All right, let's throw a wild card out there.
Yeah.
Let's draft Kayshon Boutte and hope that he ends up in a better spot where he wants to trade. We heard that they wanted to trade. He doesn't really fit, right? Like teams don't build their wide receiver rooms like fantasy football teams build their wide receiver rooms. They probably want to keep Mac Hollins there because he can block and he's a gunner. And Kayshon Boutte looks like he's going to be on his way out. Maybe he ends up in an enticing spot and his ADP ends up rising like 3 or 4 rounds, come closer to the season.
I like that. I like that. It doesn't really make sense that he's still there, because it was rumored that he was going to be involved in the Eagles trade for Brown, but the Eagles signed a bunch of receivers and then they drafted Lemon. So I guess they didn't really have a need for Butte. Like I think the 5th round pick they got was like going to be Butte, but they're like, oh, we don't need a receiver. Just give us a 5th.
Yep.
So I think that's a really good point. Like I think that he will be traded. It's somewhere. I don't know where, but somewhere.
If he ends up somewhere like maybe he ends up with like the Raiders, where he'd probably be their best wide receiver, or I mean, that's just off the top of my head, but there any number of teams, that are looking for a vertical threat. I could see him gaining value.
I mean, it's the same division, but if I'm Miami, I'm interested. I'm calling to see what we can get or what we'd have to give up for Butte.
Right. Yep.
They have nothing, and he could be their top receiver, kind of like with the Raiders.
Yep.
So yeah, that's a good one. I hadn't thought of that. That's I like that thinking. Okay, we need a what's our roster construction? We have 3 quarterbacks, 6 running backs, 6 receivers, 2 tight ends. So the only thing we really need is a 3rd tight end, and I would like to take one here. Although I have gotten Dawson Knox in round 20, which with Kincaid's injury, I think is decent. But the tight ends available are Terrence Ferguson, Parkinson, Dawson Knox, Mason Taylor, Jake Tonjes. Does any one of those stand out to you, Theo Johnson?
Not really. I mean, we're kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel here at tight end.
Yeah. You know what? I think we can get one later. Let's go with I've been rotating these guys. I'm gonna go with Kalen Black, just because I've been drafting Black or James. Just because Jordan James, just because I'm pretty confident McCaffrey's going to get hurt. So in every single draft I've done, I've come away with either Black or James, and it used to be Garendo, but Garendo got hurt. I don't know which one. Could be either. Maybe they do a committee, but McCaffrey is definitely going to miss time this year. Like I'd be shocked if he doesn't. So yeah,
absolutely.
So would you have a preference between Black and James?
Black guy, I thought that was a big time overdraft, but he was really not in here. I'm talking about the 49ers in the 3rd round. I thought he was going to go in the 7th round, but he was really good at Indiana. Jordan James, didn't really show much last year. I know he's hurt a little bit. I like James a little bit, but I think that I really like this approach. Because you're right. McCaffrey's old at this point. He's been broken down in the past. Right now, I feel like recency bias is actually pushing these guys down because McCaffrey stayed healthy last year. This is really late in the draft to be able to take a shot at a potential handcuff and that offense. Because you're absolutely right. Like McCaffrey gets hurt, whoever that handcuff is going to be an every week fantasy starter.
Yeah, that's the top waiver wire pickup, like maybe the year.
Yeah.
Okay. You're up you're up right now. So according to ADP, let's skip the quarterback. Stowers, Parkinson, Ayuk, Ferguson, Coleman, James, Ingram, Franklin, Claiborne, Jam Miller, Surratt, Pat Bryant, Beckham.
We need a tight end here, right?
I could take one next round. Who do you like?
You know what? Let's go Terrence Ferguson. Let's go Terrence Ferguson, year 2 breakout. He's athletic, second round pick last year. I know they took Max Clare this year. I see Max Clare as the eventual replacement for like sort of that what's been that Higbee role in that offense for the last number of years. I think Ferguson could really take a big step forward this year, and it's late, so worth a shot.
Yeah, super athletic. He's like a receiver. He has a lot of upside, so I like that. If we hadn't drafted him there, I would have taken Dawson Knox around 20, just because, like I said, Kincaid is dealing with the injury issues, and they said he's gonna be on a snap count. So, I like that idea.
Dawson first aid. Dawson first aid.
Oh man, like he's just always banged up. It's like the Mike Evans of the tight ends. It's just a shame. It's not even San Francisco. There we go. Ferguson is the most upside. Like the Black pick as a Niner fan, I've also been taking him a lot. Yeah, for me, it's like I said, Black or James. I'm like alternating. I'm like, oh, who did I take last time? It was James. I'll take Black this time. Just because I don't know, like it could be James. Like Shanahan feels like a little stubborn sometimes, and will never just doesn't even though he drafts a rookie running back every year in the round 3, he just doesn't play that rookie running back.
Yep.
It's always like the guy he drafted before.
Yep. So you're absolutely right. Yeah.
Right. So watch it be Garendo if he somehow stays healthy. I'd be so tilted. But you what you said is like absolutely correct. Like Garendo's ADP last year at this time was like round 12 or round 13. And like this is such a big discount around 18, 19 to take these guys.
Yeah, I think the only difference is going into last year, McCaffrey was banged up the year before, and everyone was like, oh, McCaffrey's going to get hurt. And now, for whatever reason, it appears the consensus is we're not too concerned about a McCaffrey injury, because if the general consensus was that he was going to get hurt, then these guys would be going a little bit earlier. And I know some of it's the lack of clarity on the situation, but it's really only 2 guys. It's James or it's Black. Yeah,
that's true. All right, we have 6 receivers. We need a receiver here. So my guy is still here, Jalen Noel. Talked about him before. Unless you like Caleb Douglas more, Pat Bryant, who do you like out of those 3? Noel, Pat Bryant, or Douglas?
I like Noel. I think Pat Bryant gets hurt a lot by the fact that now it's not only Cortland Sutton, but now Jalen Waddle's there too.
Yeah. I do like his talent though.
I do too. Yeah.
I
could see him replacing Cortland Sutton, in another year or so.
Mm-hmm.
He's an interesting dynasty stash, but in terms of redraft value, I just can't see Bo Nix supporting 3 receivers.
Yeah, no, it doesn't seem like that's going to happen. I don't like Waddle. Waddle's going before Sutton. It just feels like after that rookie year, like I don't know, he was okay for a while. It just seems like he's regressing every year. And to me, I don't want to be a part of that.
Yeah,
and he's not with Mike McDaniel anymore. So that yeah, go ahead.
Those speed receivers get hurt and they get broken down, and they're a lot of times never the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Surprised Douglas didn't get drafted. Caleb Douglas didn't get drafted, unless he goes in these 2 picks here. He's got upside, I think. Like he could be the top receiver. All right, we're gonna look at the receiver sleepers as promised. But let's review our team first. So our running backs are always look at that position first. We only took one in the first 5 and 2 in the first 7, but we ended up with Chase Brown, Chuba Hubbard. Not like the best group there, but I think we have good depth here with Corum and Monangai. Like one of these guys could go nuclear. Algier, we're going to get his touchdowns potentially. Sampson, we're going to get his catches potentially, and then Black, potential replacement for McCaffrey. Our receivers are the strength of our team. We have JSN, McConkey, Moore, and Jameson Williams. I think it's a really strong quartet. And then we have Stribling, Boutte, and Knoll, some guys with upside at the end. Our quarterbacks are Hurts. Still shocked that he's going round 7, but that's been the norm. Malik Willis and Cam Ward. So 3 guys who can run. And then our tight ends, Goddard to pair with Hurts. We have Dulcich to pair with Willis. And then we have Ferguson, a young guy with upside. So how do you think we did? I mean, we're going to have bias here. I think it's a good team. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. And one interesting thing is, although we don't have a second elite running back, after you get past Hubbard, you look at the handcuffs we took, and we both love our high upside handcuffs, but they're all handcuffs who are probably going to have a weekly role beyond just like 2 or 3 touches. So, you mentioned Corum, but Monangai is the starter. Algier, again, we'll see how that shakes out. It's murky right now, but he could very easily have a role, whether it's there in Arizona or maybe they're like, hey, we're going to do right by you and trade you. We told you were going to be the starter, and maybe he ends up somewhere else. And the same with Sampson. Sampson should have a role, and who knows, depending on, I know Judkins is back at practice, but he could even be the starter. Or you mentioned game script. They should be losing a lot of games. He could end up in the game as the passing down back more often than not.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I think that's a good point. Like, we have a lot of upside here, but a floor because they are involved, as you said. So, okay, let's look at the late round receivers. Let's focus on the last 4 rounds. Actually, last 5 rounds, I think, because round 16 to 20, I feel like that constitutes late round. So the guys, let's read round by round the guys who went. We'll talk about like who we like. So 16th round, we have Jeremy Bernard, Trey Harris, Zachariah Branch, Calvin Ridley, and Adonai Mitchell. I've drafted Mitchell a little bit just because he has some upside as a best ball guy. Just he can have like 3 games a year where he catches a long touchdown and then he makes it in your lineup. Branch is a spark plug, and he could be the receiver too. So those are the 2 guys I like in this round. Anyone else here?
Yeah, I kind of like Trey Harris. We talked about the 2 receiver thing with the Chargers, and I think if I had to put money on it right now, it'd be McConkey and then Quentin Johnston. Mm-hmm. But Trey Harris isn't completely out of that conversation, and I feel like there's somewhat of a chance that maybe it's Trey Harris instead of Quentin Johnston who goes on to have a productive year. So I don't mind him, and I agree with what you said about the other guys. Jeremy Bernard, I feel like the upside isn't really there. I know it's best ball, but he's kind of filling that Calvin Austin role in that offense, and that there's just not a lot there. You're looking at like maybe medium volume without the big play potential. So I mean, I'm not too excited about 4 catches for 40 yards hitting my best ball lineup.
Well, if you're going for last place, maybe it's a good pick. Hold on, a comment here. Patrick says, Quacky, I'm taking on the Titanic challenge. I can do it in my sleep. Incredible movie. The sinking of the ship, some of the best action in cinema. Let me ask you this, Mike. The Titanic challenge. We talked about this on Friday. Can you sit through the movie, the Titanic, just sitting there? No phone, no distractions. You just have to sit on your couch or wherever in your chair and watch the Titanic straight through with no distractions. Could you do it?
Absolutely not. I have never seen Titanic.
You've never seen it?
I have never seen Titanic.
Oh,
I could definitely never watch it without my phone sitting there. My wife is really good about she'll watch stuff like that while I'm doing stuff like this. So,
okay.
I got to give it to my wife, Lauren, on this one. I could not do that.
I can't believe you've never seen the Titanic.
Nope. I
Is there
know.
any reason where you're like, this movie sucks, I don't want to see it, or it looks bad, I don't want to see it,
No,
or just
throughout
never
the
had a
course
chance?
of my like 30 years since I was 10 years old, I've been very good at navigating and sidestepping and avoiding chick flicks. So yeah, I guess that's kind of like one of my biggest skills in life.
Just avoiding these movies.
Never seen The Notebook either.
I don't know if I've seen The Notebook. I maybe I have it with my wife, but I'm not as good as avoiding it. Not that's not a skill I have. I actually got duped yesterday. I've been watching these like indie low budget movies, and some of them are really good. And I got like I just see them. I see the descriptions on YouTube, and it's like woman. It says like woman's life changed. Upon tragedy, but she gets a message from her past that changes her life. And I'm like, oh, like this is like a time traveling movie. Like I'm into that. And then I start watching it, and it's like, no, she gets it's a letter that she wrote to herself, and it's like find true love. I'm like, oh god, this is gonna be terrible. And
Wait, is that A24?
no.
Oh, okay.
It's called the love something. I don't know.
Was it
Something.
two Asian people?
No.
Okay, I'm thinking of a different movie.
No. I don't forget what it's called, but okay. Oh yeah, here it goes. Here's the description. Her future was destroyed. That's why I thought it was a time travel movie. Her future was destroyed until a hidden list opened doors that she thought were lost. I was like, that sounds interesting.
Yeah.
That was awful. It's like one of the worst movies I've ever seen. It was the woman, one of the women in there is the wife from Friday Night Lights. I don't know if you saw that show.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I can't remember the actress's name, but she was she was the mother in that movie. So I thought it sounded promising, and my hopes were dashed, unfortunately. Here you go. Walt saw The Crash. We'll discuss that tomorrow for sure. Can't wait to get your opinion on that one. Did you see The Crash documentary on Netflix? It's about a girl who she was in a car with two of her friends, including her boyfriend, and she crashed the car going like super fast. I don't know how fast, but she crashed the car, and the two boys both died, and she was in the hospital for a while, and she lived. It's a documentary. This actually happened. And she actually got charged with murder, and they convicted her. So it's a whole thing, and I was kind of curious to see what people thought of that, if it was the correct sentence, if she should have been guilty or not.
I haven't seen that, but I have actually heard of that.
Yeah. It's a real thing that happens. So yeah, it's so we'll discuss that tomorrow. But no, Titanic was like, I saw it in the movie theater, and I wish we brought it up last week because I don't know why, but I saw it with my friends, and my two friends bet like $20 or something that if I would cry during the movie, once that I would not, once that I would, and then and so I did not cry, and so I talked to my friend afterward. I'm like, why did you make this bet? Like, I would never cry during this stuff. But he cried during the movie twice. He saw in the movie theater twice. Like, he cried during it, and he was like, it must have been so horrible for those people. And yeah, and like it really obviously that did happen. But like the actors I'm watching were actually in warm water. Like, they weren't in cold water.
That's true.
Yeah.
Also, just living in like the early 1900s in general was probably just hard.
Oh yeah.
Regardless of whether or not you're on the Titanic.
Yeah, you got to cut. You might die.
You might die.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy. It says, let's all connect in Discord, watch it together. Walter would be the proctor to make sure neither of us look at our phones. I don't want to do this, but I did say that I could do it. I don't know. I feel like I could do that sort of deal. But what I usually like work while I watch these movies, but I don't know. I can still do that stuff. I saw it in the theater, and we didn't have phones back then. So anyway, let's get back to these receivers. So were you say something?
Just one quick thing before we move on. I just have to throw this out there. Widow's Bay. My gosh. This is a show on Apple TV. I gave it a shot. It's brand new. Oh, that show is hilarious. It's like a horror show, which I don't really watch those.
Mm-hmm.
Comedy. Widow's Bay. Oh my gosh. Amazing show.
Widow's Bay?
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna write it down. I don't even know if I have app. I should have it. I don't know. Widow's Bay. All right. Maybe I don't have it. I'm not sure. I used to have Apple TV, but I don't know if it's like one of those things where I borrowed it from someone and then they changed their password. That I felt like that's happened a lot. And it was a dark day in the house when we lost access to our Disney Plus because the kids like watching Disney movies, so we had to find other stuff. So, but all right, I'll check that out. I've been looking for some shows to watch. So, I'll look forward to that. I did, Patrick, if you're still watching, I did watch the second season of Jury Duty. Mike, I don't know if you've seen. Did you see Jury Duty?
I know of it. I've heard great things.
Oh, awesome! So good. Yeah, I don't know if you know the concept of the show where, you do know the concept. Okay, yeah. For those who don't know, there's they go through a jury duty process. But they this is not a spoiler. They actually tell you right away. Everyone involved is an actor. The judge, the bailiff, the jurors, everyone. The only person who's not an actor is the guy, like one of the jurors, and like weird stuff happens all the time. And he's like, what is going on here? But it's really funny at Jury Duty. And then they just had a second season where it's like a corporate retreat, and so it's a corporation. It's called like Rockin' Grandma's Hot Sauce, and they go in a corporate retreat. But it's the same thing. Everyone in the corporation does not exist. Everyone working there is an actor. The retreat lady's an actress. There's like a hypnotist at some point. He's an actor. And the only person who's not is the temp who gets hired, quote unquote, hired to work there. But again, they tell you this right away, so you know. So that was it. I don't think it was as good as season one, but it was pretty good too. So
I need to watch that. You're the second person who said that that's amazing. Amazon Prime, right?
Yeah, Amazon Prime. Yeah, so good, and you can watch From on there too. It's a great show.
Oh, I love From. Don't give me any spoilers on that. I get my 7-day free trial of MGM Plus. I'm waiting until they get to the season finale here before I do that. But I'm caught up until this season.
Okay, so you haven't watched any of season 4 yet?
No, I've watched all the other seasons though.
Okay. I will not. I can't. I hate spoiling for people. I get spoiled, so I will not tell you anything. But it's been great. So
okay.
Yeah. So. Okay. Well, whenever you watch it, we'll have to talk about it. You'll have to tell me, and then we can discuss season 4. I know Kenny's a big fan. Kenny's the guy who got me into it. So.
Oh, okay.
So maybe we can have a round table on From whenever you get caught up. They've aired 7 episodes so far. I think it's 10 episodes, I believe.
I saw June 28th is the season finale. So I'm gonna it's like MGM Plus, unless it's on. I'll have to look on Amazon Prime, but. I don't want to order MGM Plus, so I get the 7-day trial.
Right.
Change the whole thing.
Yeah, that's smart. I don't. On one hand, I was like, I didn't want to wait, but on the other hand, I'm like, maybe I should just, because it's so painful. Because I just watched episodes 6 and 7 back to back, and episode 7's finishes, and maybe episodes 8's out already, and no, it just takes you to other stuff. I'm like, come on. I just want to keep watching it. It's such a good show. It's like, it's the same people who made Lost, and Lost is my favorite show of all time. So
that's my favorite show of all time.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
All right. Well, hold on. Let's finish these receivers. We'll talk about Lost maybe at the very end. All right. So round 17, we have Tank Dell, Ted Hurst, Keishon Butte, we drafted, Dontavian Wicks, and Cooper Kupp. I think Cooper Kupp's an awful pick. There's zero upside there, and really this could be a low floor too. Wicks, I think theoretically this it might be good, but the problem with Wicks is you have Jalen Hurts who only looks at 2 people, and those 2 people are going to be Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert, and if one of them is hurt, maybe it's Lemon. So I just don't see what Wicks is going to do. He might have one random good game, but I don't like him. And then Ted Hurst, just a rookie, maybe he's okay. I'm no real interest there. And Tank Dell, I've heard nothing positive about his injuries. So anyone stand out to you here in round 17?
No, you're right about Wicks. I mean, for fantasy purposes, sure, Jalen Hurts is great, but Jordan Love is a much better actual quarterback. And the offensive coaching staff in Green Bay is also just so much better than what Philadelphia's had. They don't spread the ball around. Wicks needs that. Even if, it weren't, Devontae Smith and Goddard, even if you were going to say, well, okay, maybe Wicks will have a couple big games. Sure, maybe, but he's going to be contending with, remember, Hollywood Brown is there. They drafted Mekhi Lemon. I'm with you. I don't really love Mekhi Lemon for where he goes in these drafts, but my money would be on Mekhi Lemon having a few big games over Dontavian Wicks. So now you're down to like fourth or fifth or sixth on the pecking order because you've got Eli Stowers there too. Mm-hmm. So if he were still in Green Bay, sure, whatever. But I don't really like him. I don't like Kupp. The other three I think have merit. Tank Dell. These small receivers get hurt and they're never the same. So I'm doubtful, but I could see the logic behind this pick.
Oh yeah,
because he was good before he got hurt. And Ted Hurst, I like Ted Hurst. He could start, he could play the Mike Evans role and just not have the same production as Mike Evans. And Booty, whatever. We'll see. We'll see what happens over the next few months. You might look at this in August and say, all right, well, he's still in New England. That honestly, his ADP is probably around 20 if he's still in New England. But if he's not, which it sounds like he's not going to be, maybe his ADP is in the 13th round by then.
Right. I with Dell, I agree with you with the logic there. I've drafted him like a little bit just because, there's insane upside, but the injuries is scary. And usually around this time, all you have is puff pieces. Like everyone's like, oh, this guy, Joe Schmo is looking great in training camp. And then he doesn't make the team. Yeah. But there's been no positivity about Dell. It's just like been all negativity, which sucks. Yeah. But if there's no positivity, then I don't know if I want to draft him. So it's tough. So round 18, we have a bunch of rookies here. We have Malachi Fields. We talked about him a little earlier. Chris Brazel, Chris Bell, Torrey Horton, and Darnell Mooney. So Fields looked better before Beckham signed. It kind of reminds me of last year where the Chargers had Trey Harris, and then they signed Keenan Allen. And Allen wasn't good, but he got targets. And I fear the same thing for Fields. With Brazel, he's at best the third option in an offense that's not that heavy passing. So I'm not, even though he's very athletic, I'm not super high on him. I'm not opposed to the pick, but because there is some upside. With Bell, like if he were healthy, I would love Chris Bell. He would be my favorite sleeper receiver, but he may not be healthy. But round 18's fine. I think that's okay. Horton, I think you can make a case for him. Not crazy about him, but I don't hate it. Mooney, I'm like, what's the upside? Like, I do think he'll bounce back. He was injured all last year. In fact, the coach on Atlanta last year, Raheem Morris, was saying before the season, I think it was like July, he's like, I don't know when Mooney's going to play. And then Mooney played week 1, which I thought was very strange. But like he just never looked healthy. And so I think he will bounce back. But like bounce back to what? I like what's his ceiling? Like 800 yards? I don't hate the pick. I don't like it very much. So what do you think about round 18 receivers?
Yeah, that Giants situation is very murky. I mean, you've got Slayton, you've got Mooney, you've got Beckham now, you've got Fields. Is Malik Neighbors going to be healthy? Because if Malik Neighbors is healthy, forget about any of these guys.
Right.
And you've got, I'm leaving somebody out too. Another Juju Smith-Schuster. I don't know if I mentioned him. He's still there for now.
Too. Yeah.
And some of those guys aren't going to make the team, but I just think, that's not probably going to be like a high-powered passing offense if Malik Neighbors isn't there. So I don't really love the Giants receiver. If I had to take one of them, I think I would take Fields only because I don't know if the other ones are washed or not. But I don't really love those picks. I'm with you on Bell. You know, in redraft, I'd actually say I love that pick. But in best ball, redraft meaning like not just 1 year, but a lineup league, then
Okay.
I'm fine with Bell there. But in best ball, this sounds great and seems great in June, but the reality of picks like that, you're sitting there in October and you're like, I can't believe I drafted this guy and he's still not playing. And
Yeah.
then you're sitting there waiting. Are they opening his practice window? Oh no, he's going on IR. He's going to miss the whole year. And Bell might miss the whole year.
Yeah.
That's not off the table. The guy I like here is Torrey Horton. I know he got hurt a little bit last year. I know Shahid is there, kind of plays a different type of role than Torrey Horton, but I really like him in best ball. I know the situation isn't perfect, but I just think he's a talented receiver. I think he could take a step forward and have some big weeks.
Yeah, I think that he definitely has upside for sure. I like that pick here too. I know Kenny's been drafting him a lot, like more than I have. But I've drafted him a little bit. Yeah, but like we said, if Bell were healthy, yeah, but he's not. So, and you're totally right about that. Like I've had so many, like not so many, but I've had some instances where I'll check on the team and then I'll look at the bottom and like the guy who has 0, I'm like, I drafted this guy. Like, why did I do that? You know,
I drafted Alexander Madison. Why did I do that?
right. It's always like some random bum. You're like, I didn't draft him at all. And then you look and like, oh, I did draft him. Like, what was I thinking? Yeah. So, I mean, you do get only 30 seconds per pick. So sometimes you get, you tend to draft someone you don't want to. It happens all the time. Round 19, we have Christian Kirk, Jake Besh, Elijah Surratt, and Xavier Thomas. I'd say just by default, Surratt is the best. You know, like Jack Besh like conflicts with Brock Bowers. Kirk is so banged up, and I don't know. It's just not much upside anyway. And Xavier Thomas is more of a returner, so Surratt by default. I have not drafted him though. So any thoughts on these guys?
Yeah, I actually think that Christian Kirk is this year's Jackson Smith and Jigba. He'll probably have 150 catches. No. My thought is that all of these wide receivers in this round are completely wasted picks, except I guess I could see Xavier Thomas. I thought he got drafted in the actual draft way too early, but he's very fast. He's in a good offense, and there's some talk about manufactured touches for him, like even getting some touches out of the backfield. Now, people go crazy with that in May and June, and is he going to play? You know, is he going to be the third down back? No, he's a wide receiver. But you know, could I see him getting a couple of big touchdowns? He's got 4.2 speed, so maybe. But I don't really like any of the receivers in this run. Besh is just kind of hopium. Yeah. I think the Raiders knew that they kind of have to fix the wide receiver room in next year's draft. Next year should be a very strong wide receiver class.
Oh, yeah.
And I think the way they looked at it was, you know what, we'll give Besh and Thornton another year to fail. And then we'll know that we can move on and upgrade that unit after this year.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like what they were doing. They didn't touch receiver except for signing Naylor, which I'm not a big fan of. Okay, yeah. So we agree on this round. Round 20, there were a bunch of receivers. We had Rashad Bateman, Keon Coleman, Des Walker, Brandon Ayuk, Sky Bell, Jalen Knoll. We drafted Tyquan Thornton and Troy Franklin. I loved Franklin last year. Drafted him a bunch in round 20, but not with Waddle there now. Thornton, you know, he gets deep targets. I suppose that'll keep happening, but Mahomes has actually been like a dreadful deep passer recently. I think that, I don't know if you saw the stat, he was actually the third worst quarterback accuracy wise on deep throws to open receivers. Do you know the two worst ones were?
Geno Smith's got to be up there.
No, he probably was one of the bottom 8, but Yeah, it wasn't one of them.
Who were they?
It was Michael Penix and JJ McCarthy, and then Mahomes. Mahomes was third worst. Like he was right there with those guys. It's like, man, that's pretty brutal. So I don't know what's been going on with him, but maybe too much partying with the Swifty, but I don't know. Yeah, I Thornton has no interest there. I mean, we obviously drafted Null, so like we think he's good. Bell, who knows? I don't know what they're going to get out of him. I have no idea. Ayuk, we don't know if he's even going to play. Des Walker, I saw a blurb that he is the favorite to be the third receiver, and Bateman would be the second. It's just not really exciting though. I know Likely's gone, so maybe those targets shift to those guys, but I don't know. And then Coleman just continues to fail over and over again. But anyone stand out to you besides Noel?
Yeah, so last year on your channel, I reviewed a bunch of my FFPC like high stakes drafts, and they have this weird rule where, so like since it's only a 12-week regular season, and then after week 14, everybody gets put into this big tournament. The leagues are all kind of interconnected because you're all going for like the $1 million prize. And so because of that, they make it so that you can move players in and out of your lineup from the first two games of the season. This year it's Wednesday and Thursday, but last year it was Thursday and Friday. Because there are still drafts happening then.
Right.
So,
I remember you telling me that. Yeah.
Yeah. So my 19th round pick in every draft was Quentin Johnston, and my 20th round pick in every draft was Tyquan Thornton.
Wow.
Because they're playing on Friday night, and Patrick Mahomes missed Tyquan Thornton on 2 or 3 deep shots in that Friday night game. I still remember it. So yeah, that's what you were talking about. But Franklin, I was big on Franklin last year too. As the year went on, late in the season, he started losing time to Pat Bryant. Yeah. There's no reason to think that that's going to reverse. Remember, Franklin was the second-year receiver last year. Pat Bryant was a rookie last year. So I don't really love drafting the Broncos' fourth receiver. Ayuk, is he ever going to play again? I don't know what's going on there. You mentioned Tez Walker. There's nothing exciting there. Keon Coleman's toast. I actually traded him for Torrey Horton in one of my dynasty leagues, or it might have even been a couple of my dynasty leagues. Rashad Bateman, like, come on, guys, it's 2026. Like, let's give up on that. So I like Null, actually, a lot. It feels, I said that if you squint, you can kind of see where the logic is in taking Tank Dell in round 17. But Jalen Null wasn't some 6th or 7th round pick. They took him in the 3rd round last year. It almost kind of feels like they knew that they needed to replace Tank Dell. And Null is the same type of receiver. And then the other one that I had Skylar Bell in my top 100 this year in my draft rankings. He lands in a good situation. He fell a little bit. His 3-cone was incredible this year at his pro day. He had huge production. He was one of the 3 finalists for the Bolitnikoff Award with Jeremiah Smith and some other really big. It might have been Carnell Tate or someone else. But I really like Skylar Bell in the 20th round. So Null and Bell would be my 2 favorites there.
Okay. Yeah, but Bell has upside for sure. Anyone undrafted? We'll look at this for a second. Pat Bryant did not get drafted. We have Beckham, Hopkins, Smith-Schuster, Ashton Doolin, Nick Westbrook-Akini, Jalen Tolbert. Someone in the chat talked up Tolbert, C.J. Daniels, Demario Douglas, Marvin Mims, Luke McCaffrey, Kyle Williams, Matt Collins. We have Kobe Young, Greg Dortch, Heidenreich, Yoshavas, Bryce Lance, who I drafted in round 20 because Butters likes Bryce Lance, and I mean he's super athletic, so he could have potential. Jalen Royals, Dante Thornton, I liked him last year. Oops, didn't work out. Isaiah Bond, Tutu Atwell, Thornton probably should have been on the cover today. Anyone there stand out to you?
Well, Pat Bryant is a better receiver than most of the guys we just talked about. And a best ball in best ball settings, I would have taken him over a bunch of them. And then my strategy in these best ball leagues is to kind of take someone that might not be rostered in every league, because you can see like some of these guys could have value and they're just not looked at as having value right now. Some people think that's the case with CJ Daniels. CJ Daniels is a classic May overhype, minicamp overhype guy right now. He's getting a ton of hype. But actually, can you scroll down? Because I just saw someone in that. Oh, yeah. So Greg Dortch, wide receiver 4 for the Lions, but it's still the Lions. He's a guy I could see having, a few big games, not many. He's not going to ascend to be, a top 2 receiver there. But I could see him, maybe he's on your team and one of his 3 strong games happens to be in the tournament round. And you're the only, you're the only team in the tournament round that has Greg Dortch rostered. So again, we're scraping the bottom of the barrel, but I don't mind Dortch. And then there's somebody else. Oh, Lance. Yeah, we might have drafted Lance the last time we did a draft together too, because he's super athletic. Shuck should be chucking the ball around all over the place. We're hearing the May hype about Devon Vele, who was a 27-year-old rookie last year, by the way. But he's so much more athletic than Vele. Olave is hurt a lot. Jordan Tyson is hurt a lot. I like Bryce Lance as well.
Yeah. That is a lot of upside for sure. And yeah, I mean, it's a great point. I mean, he's not going to be drafted, and if you're the only one in the playoffs with him, that is a big edge for sure that you can get. Dortch is another one. If St. Brown goes down, he's going to be in the slot there. So that's something. And he's like one of those guys where he'll have a big game out of nowhere, just like out of the blue, and then everyone rosters him in DraftKings the next week, and then he does nothing. But in best ball, that's you only care about those. You don't have to make the decision because he's going to be in your lineup. It's not like redraft where it's like no one starts Dortch, and no one should ever start Dortch in a 16-round format. But in best ball, round 20, I think it's worth a shot. I like that call.
And the last one there, because this slipped my mind too when you scroll down, Isaiah Bond. Terrible team. They drafted 2 receivers very early this year. And so it makes perfect sense why he's not getting drafted. But let's remember, this is a guy who was going to be a late 2nd round pick or a 3rd round pick in last year's draft. He had the terrible allegations against him. No NFL team was willing to touch him. No NFL team was even willing to sign him as an undrafted free agent until the Browns came along, in August, and they're like, we're the Browns. Will sign. Right. But I'm just saying, like, if Concepcion doesn't work out or doesn't work out right away, Isaiah Bond's another one who, he could have a little bit of potential when you're looking at like the 20th round.
Yeah, I that's a great call. I totally forgot about this guy. I mean he would have been a 2nd round pick had he didn't have those issues, and he's there. So it's not very exciting to draft a Browns player, but someone's going to catch something there, maybe. We think.
Yeah.
So I like that call. Caleb Douglas, another guy, talked about him too. But yeah, I mean, so hopefully we answered the questions about the sleepers. Jacoby Lane's a rookie. Maybe the Ravens receivers are just so bad outside of say Flowers. So maybe he steps up. I don't know.
I like Lane in the red zone. Like Lane is he's so good in the red zone. He could make sense just because he could end up with a lot of touchdowns, even though he's not going to have a lot of receiving yards.
Yeah. Scorpion says Kittle in round 9 makes me queasy. Yeah. I would not draft him in round 9. Like, he's gonna miss he's gonna miss time for sure. Like it was like people last year taking Godwin at this time, like around round 5. It's like what are you doing? He's not gonna play for a while. And just like don't draft injured players because injuries will happen to players you draft. Unless you're super lucky, that's what's going to happen. So like, don't draft players who are already hurt because you're going to get injuries anyway. So like, why chase the injuries? Yep. You know, unless like everyone in your league thinks the same way, and then Kittle's there in like round 13. And so sure, I take a shot on him there. It's round 12, 13. Like round 9, that's way too early. Like we got Goddard around later. And I think given the injury, I think Goddard will outproduce Kittle this year unless Goddard also gets hurt.
Yeah, because then you also get to the end of August, and all of a sudden that ADP drops like a rock on these injured players. We see That's kind of what I was talking about with that guy Chad Schroeder, who drafts the last 2 weeks before the season starts. We saw with Cooper Kupp a couple years ago, back when he was still good. He was going in the first round from May to the third week of August, and then he ended up in the third round because he might miss a game, and down to the fifth round, and he settled down in like the seventh round or somewhere like that.
Yeah, no, it's Joe Mixon last year. He was going like round 4 or 5, and then by the end he was going like round 16.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, it's don't chase these injuries. Okay, I got to ask you about Lost. Did you watch it live when it came out?
I watched it live. I watched the documentary that just came out. I love the show. I actually wasn't disappointed at all by the finale. I think it makes perfect sense. I think that people are too harsh because they're like, well, you have these seasons that are like 25 episodes long, and they're like, back in season 3, in episode 13, there was a picture of Watch, and they never addressed that. It's like, okay. Because there's 150 episodes of this show. Like, they can't tie together everything.
Right. You did have some bad episodes. As much as I like the show, you did the Nikki and Paulo episode in season 3. That was pretty brutal. But I think overall the show's incredible. I watched the premiere when it came on live, and I like instantly fell in love with the show. I always loved those, like, the mystery, the time travel, and there was time travel and Lost eventually, but like the whole, like, the mystery stuff where you don't know what's going on. I was like intrigued by that. I was fascinated by the polar bear. You saw that in the 2-hour premiere where they shoot the polar bear. And then at the end of the 2-hour premiere, Charlie goes, where are we? Because they hear the French woman on their loop, and then they realize, Danielle Rousseau, and they realize that she's been recording this message for 15 years, 16 years, 20 years, something like that. So then Charlie goes, where are we? And then I think what really drew me in was the episode, couple episodes later, where Locke, you learn about Locke, and you see him, like, because they would show the flashbacks, you see Locke talking on the radio, and you're like, oh, this guy like knows about hunting. He has knives, and like he's talking on the radio. He sounds like a person in the military. And you're like, oh man, this guy he's in the military. And then you learn that he's some like loser who just, he was talking to someone on the phone, and he thought that she was going to be his girlfriend or something. And then in the way the boss treats him and stuff. And then at the very end of the episode, you learn that he was handicapped. He was in a wheelchair. And then as soon as he got to the island, he was healthy. He could walk around. And that really sealed the deal for me. And then eventually the hatch in the ground. I remember taking a car drive home with two of my friends, and we spent the whole time like theorizing. This is right after season 1. We were theorizing what's in the hatch. Like we were just coming up with like all these crazy theories. And like of course, like the end of season 1, you see the shark with it's tattooed with the logo. You see the Dharma logo. And of course, then you have like the Hurley numbers that that's like that was like in the door of the hatch, where like the Hurley won the lottery, and those same numbers were in the door of the hatch.
Yep.
And we're like, oh, what's down there? We had these crazy theories, like like we're thinking like aliens or something, or like some crazy science experiment, or like so like that was the beauty of the show. And I think like people who binge it don't get the same sort of experience, because I remember just like thinking, oh, like what is happening, and I always have these theories. I came up with this theory that that who was Claire's son? Who was his name? Do you remember
Oh, I don't
Claire's
remember.
son's
I
name?
remember that. Yeah, the baby, right?
Yeah. What was his name? It's killing me. Aaron.
Oh, right.
Um, I thought like Aaron. I wrote out this whole theory. So I put it on the website. Um, I thought Aaron was actually going to be the Man in Black because um because they already introduced time travel. And this
Yep.
I made this prediction like season 5 or 6. I thought that like he would grow up. He saw like what happened to Claire, how she became like crazy, and then like he would be like so vengeful because he learned that like Jacob brought all the people to the island, and I thought that like he would find a way to go back in time to try to save his mom, and then he would go back like too far in time, and then like he would find Jacob, and like he would like vow to get revenge on Jacob for bringing his mom and the others to the island, and that's like that would be the genesis of the Man in Black. And I was like so upset that that wasn't the case. But like my point is like I always like brainstorm these crazy theories about the show, and I loved it. So that, I mean, that's why I was asking you if you watched it live.
Oh yeah, and you're right. And they also, I feel like they kind of made this sort of sequencing of shows famous where like there's action and it ends on a cliffhanger, and now you're waiting all week and you're like, oh,
Right.
I can't wait to see what happens. And then you get to the next week and it's a flashback episode where
I
it's
know.
got nothing to do with what just happened. So you have to wait 2 weeks. I feel like I don't remember that. I've seen it in a lot of shows since then, but I feel like I don't remember it in any shows before that.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong on that. I'm not like a huge like TV guy, but and then the Nikki and Paulo thing. The funny thing with that, they buried Nikki alive. The reason they buried her alive is because they realized what a bad character she was and how much everybody hated Nikki and Paulo. So they're
Right.
like, all right, we want like, what's worse than killing her? All right, we're gonna bury her alive because she got like stung by a scorpion or
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
She couldn't talk. She was paralyzed. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the hatch, I learned from watching the documentary that apparently they didn't know what was going to be in the hatch either at the end of season 1. And they had to figure it out. They just wanted them to find the hatch, and then they had to figure it out from there.
What a cool like philosophical debate that even the characters had on the show. Like, do you press the button to hatch every 108 minutes? You imagine like how torturous that is. You can't sleep for 2 hours.
That's got to
Like
be terrible.
yeah, you have this, yeah.
I'll tell you, Ray. You know, Ray has a hatch key. He has a key from the. I'm not kidding. He went and paid
awesome.
like $50 for it. He's been carrying it around for the last 15 years.
That's incredible. That's
Yep.
that's awesome. No, it's and I love that the characters in the show had this debate. Like, do we press the button? Like, do you enter the numbers every 108 minutes, or do you let it go? And it's pretty incredible. I always ask that to people who don't watch the show or like are getting into it. Like if you were stuck in a hatch and you were told that you had to press the button every 108 minutes or the world is going to end, like what would you do?
I'd be pressing the buttons.
Yeah, well, a lot of people are like, "Nah, I'd peace out." Like, okay, well, the world ends.
Yeah, you know what though? Those are the people who are taking Tank Dell in the 17th round.
Or Cooper Cup, even worse.
Cooper Cup, yeah.
No, I'm with you on the ending. So I feel like people didn't get the ending. And that's what really frustrates me because like people are like, oh, they were dead the whole time. You know how many times I've heard people say they were dead the whole time?
They said right off the bat that that's not what it was. It wasn't purgatory or anything like that.
They weren't dead the whole time. Like, what are you talking about? Like, like did you not pay attention? Like, we looking at your phone and like not like you didn't pass the Titanic challenge. No, it wasn't that at all. And I'm like, I get so frustrated. Like, I'm like, no, they were not dead the whole time. They're like, whoa, what happened? I thought they were dead. Like, no, they were not dead the whole time. Like, that's not even close. Not even close.
The way they ended it was awesome too, where they all like they meet each other in that like sort of in between place, and
yeah,
they're all together and go to the afterlife together. That was cool,
right? And this wouldn't have been possible if the Man in Black won, because he was trying to take that away from humanity. And they had to do it. Like they had to defeat the Man in Black to get there. And it was like, yeah, the Flash sideways was, yeah, they're dead the whole time, but like not, I mean, not the whole show, like certainly not. And like they and a lot of another criticism I heard is like, oh, they didn't answer anything, or they didn't answer everything. And I'm like, I think they answered like almost everything.
Yep.
Like they didn't delve into the Walt stuff, because like Walt grew like 8 inches. Even Sawyer made that joke. He's like, I saw Walt, he was super tall. So like tall Walt. And but they never really addressed Walt's. But like you could probably like infer, like what his deal was. But outside of that, like they pretty much answered everything, I think. I can't think of a thing where they didn't answer. Like if someone asked me like, oh, what was this? I could probably answer it.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. Even with Walt, I feel like they had some kind of like 15-minute epilogue. It wasn't on the TV show. Maybe they released it online or something like that, where like Hurley takes over for.
Oh, wait! Don't tell me this. I have not watched the epilogue, like purposely. I have it. I have not watched it because like it's like the last thing. Like it's the Desmond book thing. Remember, it was his favorite author. Was it Dickens? I forget who his favorite author was.
I can't remember anymore.
Remember he read everything of this author except for one book, and he was like, I'm saving this till the end for a special time, because that's it. Once I read it, I've read everything. And for me, that's, unless they come up with a reboot, that's like the last thing I lost. So I have not seen it,
There we go. That, first of all, that's pretty cool. I like that. But yeah, so you have access to that somewhere, right? You
can just watch it on YouTube, really. But like, I have the DVD set, and I have that DVD, and I just haven't watched it.
Cool.
Yeah, and I don't know when I will. If like a meteor is gonna come hit Earth, I'm like, okay, I guess I'll watch it now.
I hope they do something else with that show. At some point, a reboot, or I guess you can't really reboot it because you already know what happened. But it was such a good show.
Well, I haven't seen the epilogue, so maybe you could tell me without telling me what happens. I feel like you could have new people come to the island.
Yes.
And you could have Hurley there, and Michael there. Not Michael. Ben there. Ben Linus. You could have them there a little bit, kind of like Jacob and the Man in Black side characters, where they pop in and out sometimes. I don't know if that's possible, given that I didn't see the epilogue, but like you could have the focus on new characters, and it's a challenge because like in my opinion, like despite all the cool mystery stuff and everything, which like I said, we were talking about that for the Penn State to Phillies 3 hours. We were talking about that for 3 hours. The best part of the show was the character development. Like I've never seen a show or a movie that's had the same level of character development. Like you see, like what happened with Sawyer, it was like insane. That's like an amazing movie plot. Like just that one character. Like think about how far Jin went. He like season 1, episode 1 or 2, you hate this guy because you think he's abusing his wife. And then by the end of it, you're like everyone loves Jin because like you see the development he's had, and it's like every character had that.
Yeah.
And like with brand new characters, can you do that? Can they capture that magic again? I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, with From, I like From. And I do like some of the characters, but some characters like do seem kind of hollow. Like it's not the same level of character development. I think the main character, what's his name? Was the guy who played Michael in Lost.
Michael, that's I can't think of him as anything other than Michael from Lost. That's what I call him.
Yeah. So like he has good character development on the show, but like something like his son, it just seems like an empty vessel. They really don't go into him very much, and he had something horrible happen with his, I don't know if they got married officially, but his girlfriend / wife, I forget if they're married, but in season 3, they something horrible happened to her, and like they really like delve into it, you know. Like, so I don't know. I like so like while From's a really cool show and I like it a lot, it doesn't have the like same like special sauce that Lost had.
Yeah.
And
Well, now you've also got 10 episode seasons for all these shows instead of 25.
That's
and
true.
you've lost the magic of, you know what, it's Tuesday night or whatever night Lost is on. 9 o'clock, I'm going to be in front of my TV watching Lost that night because I want to see it, and I'm going to talk with everybody about it the next day. It's kind of like I also watched a documentary on the Brat Pack from like that, all those people who made those movies in the early 80s. And a lot of them kind of talk about like that could never happen again because back then you didn't have a lot of different TV channels. You didn't have a lot of different options for going to watch movies. You didn't have a lot of different options for entertainment. So everybody would like they were force fed to everybody. Now everybody's got options, you know, like we're doing a fantasy football draft at midnight in the beginning of June. But you know, that part of Lost, I feel like you can never recapture you mentioned it, right? Like you're watching it streaming. It's not the same as like, whoa, I can't wait to see what happens. And I have to wait a week. And then I get to a week and now the whole episode is just character development. It's a flashback about one of the characters. So I actually have to wait 2 weeks to find out what happened.
Right.
And I don't know. I just feel like that would be tough to recreate.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I mean, like From is like that because they release it every week, but still, and it does get me thinking like oh, what's going on here? But it like I said, it doesn't have the same character development. But you're right, it's like 10 episodes versus 23 or 24, whatever they had. Like think about like Mr. Echo, even like, you know, he was such a cool character, and we only got to see him for like a half a season and then another half a season, really. But like by the end, like he was like he just left this huge imprint, and like he's one of my favorite characters on the show.
He was supposed to be a big character, but I guess he wanted to leave.
Yeah, I heard that too. Yeah, that's a shame. I do find myself wondering like where he would have ended up. You know, would he have taken like Locke's role in the final few seasons? Instead of Locke. I don't know. I really don't know. I'd love to know. I don't know if they have ever talked about it, but I think that would be cool to know. Like I said, and I liked how every episode was a different focus on a different character. You know, it'd be like a Jin and Sun episode, then it'd be like a Claire episode, then it'd be a Charlie episode, then a Jack episode, like, and you always look forward to it. There was never like a character I was like, oh man, I don't care about them, you know, except for Nikki Pop.
Right, but at least they were aware of that, and they like wrote.
It's a one-off. Yeah, it was a one-off. Yeah.
But let me ask you. Sorry, I know it's getting late, but I need to know this because I love shows that are like that. I watched all Twin Peaks. I know it was weird. I loved it in the beginning, then it got like too weird for me. It got like David Lynch weird toward the end. But
wait, real quick. By the end of, you mean season 3 or by the end of season 2?
By the end of season 2, I was like, this isn't the same. Then Fire Walk with Me, I was like, what the fuck am I watching?
That was crazy. That was a crazy movie. That was one of the craziest movies I've ever seen.
Yeah, and then the reboot came out, and I was like, this is awesome. I can't wait. Yeah. I made my wife sat there and watched we rewatched season 1. I didn't watch Twin Peaks when it was live. I was too young. But that reboot, or not reboot, the season 3, maybe I don't have enough intelligence. I have no idea what the fuck I was watching. I'm like, what? Excuse my language, but I'm like, can David Lynch just defer to that other guy, Mark Frost or whatever, for some of these episodes? Because I don't know what the hell I'm looking at. It's too artsy for me.
That's part of the magic.
I guess.
Do you remember the season 8 or season 3 episode 8 where it's just explosions for like 5 minutes?
Yeah, and there's all kinds of weird stuff like that.
Yeah, you had 9 Inch Nails performing, and then you had a guy get shot. You had demons come take the guts out of his body, and then you had explosions for 5 minutes, and then you saw like a gray, black and white like people like, and then you said like you see homeless looking people walk around, but they're demons, and then they have this like this poem that they hypnotize people with, and then this giant bug crawls into this woman's mouth. This is like this is one episode. Like, I remember watching this with my wife. I'm like, I love this, but I'm like, I don't know what's happening right now.
It was like the first season and a half until they solved the Laura Palmer thing.
Yeah.
It was like, this is like, okay, the characters in the town are developed, and this is like a town, and it's weird, but like there's cool stuff going on, and it's reasonable. It's maybe a little bit corny, but whatever. Then you get past that, and it's like, like, I don't know what that is. I don't understand what that means.
Well, David Lynch left after the Laura Palmer killer reveal.
Did he?
Yeah, and he left because he was upset that the networks forced him to reveal it before he wanted to.
I knew that.
Yeah,
okay.
And so he left for about half the season, and then he returned for the season 2 finale.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't know if he was there for the penultimate episode too, but he definitely did the finale season 2, which was one of the cooler episodes out. But when he goes into the Black Lodge, it's like basically hell, and he's like walking around, and like it's just like terrifying. That was like peak David Lynch, I thought. But no, I loved season 3. It was pretty crazy, and like the there's so many great moments. Did you watch the whole thing of season 3?
Oh yeah.
My one, like, two of my favorite things. I always like the one where Dale Cooper goes, "I am the FBI," and I was like, I actually like started to catch, yeah, like that was like one of the best lines. And then at the finale, that right at the end, when Dale Cooper is with Laura Palmer, and he's like, "Wait, what year is it?" And then you're like, oh my God, what is happening here? And then Laura Palmer like screams, and then it kind of like the reality shattered. And also when the what's her name, the brunette girl who's barely in season 3, but like when she started dancing, and then she snapped out of it, and she was in some insane asylum. Audrey, yeah. That was one of the coolest moments ever, I thought. It was. I thought season 3 was incredible, even though it was confusing sometimes. But I loved it.
I just missed like Dale Cooper from the beginning. I was like, I guess I was like looking for that character, and he just didn't show up throughout.
Until he said, "I am the FBI." Until he said, "I am the FBI."
Yeah.
Then he was back finally.
Yeah, and then Fire Walk with Me, you got like I said, like they're doing like this, and I don't know what that means. And there's the clown like dancing with Kiefer Sutherland. I have no idea.
Yeah, that was awesome too, because she conveyed a message to them. Remember, like Kiefer Sutherland and the other guy were in the car, and the guy was like, "Oh, what do you think that was?" And they actually like solved what message she was trying to convey. I don't know. I wasn't clear on like why she did that, like because she probably could just told him, but like he was like, yeah, you can't trust the sheriff. It was like the uncle or something is involved. She spelled it out, and they figured it out, but like I was never clear on like why they had to have a secret message where she probably could just told them. It's like the convoluted way of just like being cryptic. I don't know.
Yeah, I liked the show. I just, as it went on, I was like, what is happening? Yeah. But I need to know, are there any recommendations? I watched Leftovers. That was all right. I watched, I liked From. I feel like Severance is kind of in that category. I like Severance.
Yeah.
The funny thing is Widow's Bay is like it's not like it's a comedy, but it like you could kind of like if you squint, it's kind of like taking Tank Dell in the 17th round. Like it's funny, but it's like you're kind of wondering what's going on there too. Are there any good? Because there's a whole bunch of bad ones. There's a whole bunch of like they tried to be Lost to Twin Peaks. Like oh gosh, there was one, Wayward Pines. There's a bunch of bad ones. Any good ones that you know of off the top of your head?
How much do you like horror?
Not much, but I mean, I don't like. I like From. So
Right. Did you ever watch The Haunting of Hill House?
yes, I love that.
Okay.
I liked the second season until the very
Bly,
end, and I was like, wait, what? And
Bly
then
Manor.
the
Yeah.
third season, I was like, I don't ever want to watch this again.
Yeah. What was the third season?
The one with all the people that turned into like
Vampires.
devils.
Yeah. They turned to vampires. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was not good. They did bounce back with the fall of the House of Usher, which was the most recent one they did. That was probably my third favorite behind Hill House and Bly Manor. So okay, so I think that's pretty good. Something on top of my head. It was released recently, like let's say 6 months ago. It was called well, first of all, did you watch Stranger Things?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Did you? I mean, it got bad at the end, I think. But did you like season 1?
Yeah, I don't remember it that much, but I like Stranger Things.
Okay. The same guys who made the show, the Duffer Brothers, they also made a show called something.
Yeah.
Something very bad.
I watched The Burrows.
No, another one. Something very bad is going to happen. It sounds like a bad title. Yeah, that's literally what it's called. It's called Something Very Bad is Going to Happen. It's on Netflix. That is a great one. It had the magic of, I think, outside of the nostalgia factor, it had the magic of Stranger Things season 1. I liked it a lot. And it was a very like ominous like thing where you're like, you just have like a sense of dread during the whole show, and you're like, this is not going to end well for anyone here. Like that's what I was thinking the whole time.
Okay.
And I like that one a lot, and a lot of like really cool mystery as to like what's going on, and they kind of like redirect you. Like you think like something's happening, and then like it's something else. It's and the characters are good. So that one, something very bad is going to happen. I like that.
I gotta watch that then. Okay.
Yeah, that's on Netflix. And an older one is I mean, we were talking about like it's funny we talk about Lost and Twin Peaks. Those are like my two favorite shows. Something else in the top 5 is Battlestar Galactica. I don't know if you've seen that.
I've never seen that.
The one with I forget his first name, James Olmos, and that is a great show. It's about I don't know if you know it's about like the human. Like there's a war between humans and robots. They're called Cylons, and the Cylons just disappeared out of nowhere. And then you see it right away in the first episode. Like they come back, and what they do is they hijack the ships via they can they use basically the internet to make self-destruct, and they blow up all the ships that way. But the commander of the Battlestar Galactica, he's like an old, fuddy-duddy guy, and like, he's about to enter retirement. Like he never upgraded his ship because he's like, I don't like technology, even though it's like this spaceship. But he never upgraded it. So this ship was not on the network. And so the Cylons can't blow it up. They can't initiate the self-destruct sequence. So he's like the only ship left. and so they say, and this is the first episode, he goes, he's like, I heard, we came from Earth. We have to go back to Earth. But the cool thing about that show is the Cylons look like humans. They're not like robotic things. They look like humans. And they really don't know who is a Cylon on the show. Because there's a Cylon's revealed in the first episode, and it's like one of the characters you see right away. It's like people think it's like a normal crewman, and that person turns into be a Cylon, and they're like, oh, who else is a Cylon? We don't know. And so there's a lot of like paranoia on the show where like people like accuse each other of being Cylons, and like they and some like the Cylons, sometimes they don't even know that they're Cylons, because like they get like there's kind of like sleeper cells that get activated sometimes. And so and yeah, there's a lot of like I said, just paranoia and stuff on the show. But that's a show where they had amazing character development. Like nothing's quite like Lost. That's like on the next tier. It's so good. It's so good. There are a couple of episodes of season 2 which get kind of slow, but then it gets really good eventually. And the ending, I think one of the best twists that you'll see. And then they had a prequel called Caprica, which was one season, but the prequel is really cool because it answered a lot of stuff. So so I would recommend that too. Yeah, I'll have to think of some more recommendations for you. So next time you're on, we'll be able to talk about them.
All right, good stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, if you have Netflix, you can watch Something Very Bad's Going to Happen. I don't know where you can stream Battlestar Galactica. Let me see. It says free on Pluto TV. And Pluto TV is free, so you can just download that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, actually, I think I have that in my Roku.
Okay. Yeah, so you can do that. So, yeah. So, like I said, well, I'll have to think of some other shows. And we'll have to talk about that. It's pretty cool that we're both Lost junkies.
Oh yeah, Ray is too. Ray's big into Lost and Stranger Things are his two biggest shows.
Yeah, it's such a shame Stranger Things got bad at the end. I can't even watch the final season. It sucks. But I loved season 1. I thought 2 was a decline, but still good. 3 I didn't like. 4 I liked a lot, and then 5 is just garbage, I think. So I don't know if he has the same opinion, but yeah, I mean, well, we should have like a roundtable with us 3 after a fantasy draft or something in the future.
That would be great. Ray is the Stranger Things expert. I watched all the episodes, but I don't even remember what happened.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll have to talk about that next time. So, any final thoughts, or if not, do you want to plug NFLRoughDraft.com?
Yeah, no, I mean, NFL Rough Draft, it's like I mentioned, me and my buddy Ray, we grew up together, won the Huddle Report 3 times for, having the most accurate draft board. We've never won it for mock drafts or anything like that. But we've got our top 50 for the 2027 draft up right now. That'll eventually be like 400 or 500 players like it always is. We have our top 100 history up there going back to the Matt Ryan year, I think.
Nice.
So those are all the top 100s that we submitted. And it's fantasy football season. Dynasty season's wrapping up, and it's just about redraft season here. So looking forward to, hopefully coming on the show and having a summer talking about getting ready for football season.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll have to get you on sometime soon as well, and talk more about TV shows after we do our draft. But yeah, guys, thanks so much for watching and commenting. We'll be back tomorrow with Tom, and then normal schedule next week. So please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video, visit walterfootball.com for tons of content. And hey, guys, thank you so much, like I said, and I hope you have a great rest of your night, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.